Hello, and welcome to Some Like It Classic, a podcast about the movie magic and timeless shows of classic film and television. I'm your host, Tammy Govea, and together we'll revel in old Hollywood nostalgia and delve into the searing reflections of the men and women who shaped the cultural landscape through the lens of entertainment. There was never a Western quite like Maverick. Critics have repeatedly referred to Bret Maverick as arguably the first TV anti-hero. He really didn't fit the stereotypical gunslinger fighting the wilds of the West and its lawlessness. As Pop Culture Chronicles wrote, this one was anything but traditional. Cerebral plots and comedic episodes were common. Some episodes didn't even seem like Westerns, with stories and settings like Louisiana, Mexico, on riverboats, and even in South America. Maverick was the brainchild of Roy Huggins, the creator behind The Fugitive, 77 Sunset Strip, The Rockford Files, and more. Few were better at blending gripping action and humor, and the show is generally credited with launching Garner's career. James Garner, who played the lead of Bret Maverick, was devilishly handsome, charming, and just plain funny. His smile was quick, and his character as a gambler who moved wherever the wind and money took him was a novel concept and played against the Western stereotype. Part of the charm of Bret Maverick was James Garner's brilliance at playing the reluctant hero. He was vocally averse to risking his life, though he typically ended up being courageous in spite of himself. The theme song to the old TV Western Maverick begins, "Who is the tall, dark stranger there? Maverick is the name. Riding the trail to who knows where. Luck is his companion." Believe it or not, there really was a Maverick in the Old West. His first name, though, was Sam. You can find out more about this Maverick in 1989 Paula Mitchell Marx's biography, Turn Your Eyes Toward Texas, Pioneers Sam and Mary Maverick. James Garner's Bret Maverick is a fictional, unconventional card player named after Texas cattleman Sam. Maverick initially starred James Garner, however, 8 episodes into the first season, he was joined by Jack Kelly as his brother Bart Maverick. And for the remainder of the first 3 seasons, Garner and Kelly alternated leads from week to week, sometimes teaming up for the occasional 2-brother episode. The episodes featuring both of them are priceless. Both critics and audiences, and me, loved the chemistry between the Maverick brothers. Bret and Bart often found themselves competing for women or money or working together in some elaborate scheme to swindle someone who had just robbed one of them. Bret and Bart technically appeared together in 16 episodes over the course of the series, but only shared a large amount of screen time in 11 of them. When James Garner left the series after the 3rd season due to a contract dispute, Roger Moore was added to the cast as cousin Bo Maverick. As before, the 2 starring Mavericks would generally alternate as series leads with an occasional team-up episode. And here is where it gets a little interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this as a viewer. Well, I do. It just didn't work quite as well. You see, partway through the 4th season, the creators hired a look-alike of James Garner, an actor by the name of Robert Colbert, who would replace Roger Moore and play a 3rd Maverick brother, Brent. It was a strange plan of action. As a rule, you had no more than 2 series leads. There were 4 total for the run of the series, ever appeared together in the same episode. And most of the time, episodes featured only one. All 2 Maverick episodes included Jack Kelly as Bart Maverick. For the 5th and final season, the show returned to a single Maverick format. Let's take a look at some fun facts about this 1957 to 1962 series. 1. Did you know Warner Brothers changed James Garner's name without his permission? On April 7, 1928, in Norman, Oklahoma, the actor came into the world as James Bumgarner. Perhaps that is how we would know him today had it not been for Warner Brothers. After an array of jobs, he got his break as an actor in 1956. The studio started billing him as Garner instead of Bumgarner, without asking the young man's permission. 2. Garner played Bret Maverick in 3 different Maverick series. It is a rare actor who can claim 2 iconic television characters and a successful big screen career. Garner became a household name thanks to the witty and fun Maverick. The gambling Bret Maverick proved to be so beloved that numerous reboots followed over the decades. In 1979, a TV movie led to Young Maverick, an incredibly short-lived sequel that hardly featured Garner. In 1981, Maverick was dealt another hand in the series Bret Maverick. NBC surprisingly canceled the solidly performing show after only 1 season. 3. The show's announcer was the voice of Allstate Insurance. At the top of each episode, a commanding voice proclaimed, "Maverick," starring Jack Kelly and Robert Colbert, or whoever the leads were for that week. The man behind the deep voice was Ed Reimers, who from 1957 to 1979 was the one telling TV audiences they were in good hands with Allstate. He also appeared as Admiral Fitzpatrick in the classic Star Trek episode The Trouble with Tribbles. 4. Garner had moves that were ahead of their time. James Garner was gifted with great physicality, as you can see in the wonderful two-brother episode, Pappy. He was also sort of doing the rope-a-dope boxing technique before Muhammad Ali popularized it. In the Season 1 episode Stampede, Bret sets up a boxing match between 2 bruisers. When one of the boxers quits, Bret must step in and face the burly, battling Kruger. He relies on the ropes to win the day. Perhaps Ali was watching? 5. Did you know that one episode recycled a famous set from Casablanca? Escape to Tampico pays homage to the Hollywood classic. Much of the action takes place in La Cantina Americana, an obvious nod to Rick's Cafe American from the film. The cantina itself was constructed from the set of Rick's Cafe. The costumes are quite similar as well. 6. Did you know Warner Brothers recycled Maverick scripts for another TV show? As we've seen, Hollywood was big on saving money. However, the Alaskans took recycling to a whole nother level that is thankfully left in the past. In part due to the 1960 Writers Guild of America strike and in part because of penny pinching, Warner Brothers reused Maverick scripts for the series. Quite often, I realized that we were filming Maverick scripts with the names changed, the show's star Roger Moore noted. After the series was canceled, Moore made the leap outright to Maverick, joining the cast as Bo Maverick. 7. Did you know another James Bond almost appeared on the show? That being said, Roger Moore was not the first choice to play Bo. The studio wooed Sean Connery for the role, flying him to America. He turned it down. No worries. from one future James Bond to another. 8. The studio tried to make actors punch a time clock. The producers placed a time clock in the makeup room and demanded that the cast punch in and out like factory workers. Well, the actors bristled. Roger Moore supplied his own makeup and refused to clock in. The actor told of the clock's fate in his memoir. One day, Jack Kelly took the time clock and used it as a football. 9. Shady Deal at Sunny Acres was Garner's favorite episode. Perhaps some of this had to do with the fact that Garner got to spend the entire episode comfortably whittling in a rocking chair. It's also a flat-out brilliant piece of television, which carries many similarities to the classic film The Sting. Like we said, the outings with both Brett and Bart Maverick working together are quite special. 10. There was a massive crossover episode with other Westerns. The Madcap Season 4 episode, Hadley's Hunters, trots out numerous cameos from other Warner Brother Westerns. You can spot John Russell and Peter Brown from Lawman, Clint Walker from Cheyenne, Will Hutchins from Sugarfoot, and Ty Hardin from Bronco. In addition, Ed Burns from 77 Sunset Strip also pops up, combing the mane of a horse called 77 Cherokee Strip. And that brings us to a close for this episode of Some Like It Classic. I hope you enjoyed this continuing spotlight on TV Westerns and the television show Maverick, which is truly one of the brightest gems of the television Western genre. I want to thank Pop Culture Chronicles and Wikipedia for their content contributions and MeTV for their fun facts. You can find episodes of Maverick on MeTV Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific on most MeTV stations. Today's episode was written, narrated, and produced by Tammy Govea. That would be me. The logo was created by Marissa Serafini. This is a JLJ Media podcast and can be found on most streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcast. Ratings and reviews are always welcome, so let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed this episode, share the love with a like-minded friend. You can follow Some Like It Classic on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Like It Classic. As always, thank you for listening, and join me next week for another episode of Some Like It Classic. Until then, happy trails to you. Until we meet again.